and and then you fall and you die physically, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, not physically though.
Healing and becoming.
That's right.
Healing and becoming you.
Hey, hey, happy healing and becoming. Thank you guys for joining us for yet another episode of Healing and Becoming, where you guys already know what we do. We believe in lifting as we climb, turning our trials into treasures, living a life to inspire and not impress, opening up and allowing God to fully restore us, and loving as if we've never been hurt. Now, that last one, I believe today, that's the one that we're going to kind of step on your toes. Is loving as if you've never been hurt, but really healing from betrayal. We've all felt it. Whether it was your friend in kindergarten that said that they don't want to be your friend anymore and they took their toys and stopped sharing, or whether it was that college boyfriend or girlfriend that broke your heart and you're still trying to overcome it in your 40s, or something that people don't talk about. Maybe it's a child, maybe it's a kid that you loved and you raised and you loved so much and they've walked away from you and there's this sense of betrayal. I believe today's guest is really going to help us navigate how to heal the betrayal and possibly love as if we've never been hurt. Without any further ado, Mr. J, how you doing, sir? You got a minute?
Oh, I have as many minutes as you'll tolerate me, Tamika. I love it. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here. Tell the TWT family a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, Lordy. Well, I am Mr. J. I am a certified betrayal trauma practitioner, and I'll get more into that soon. I'm also a intrapersonal relationship coach, and so what I did prior to becoming a certified betrayal trauma practitioner is help people with the relationship they have with themselves. Because I always say the relationship we have with ourselves sets the tone and standard for all other relationships around us. I'm an author. I'm a veteran of the United States military. I'm an adoptive father, going on 24 years of marriage, former special education teacher, child of God, and broken but beautiful child as well. But I always say, just like broken crayons, you can still create beautiful masterpieces with them.
That's right. I knew from hello that there was something I like about you. So I also had the privilege and the honor of working in the special needs population, and those babies are just, they really teach you. One, they humble you because they're going to tell you about yourselves because there's no filter. But two, they really show you kind of like the hands of God. I love that you said an interpersonal relationship coach. So many people are trying to build relationships with others, but the relationship that they have with themselves is broken. And it's really because we betray ourselves. Would you agree with that?
One of the big reasons, absolutely. One of the also things that I do, as a matter of fact, right after this, I have to call the couple, is I'm a wedding officiant. And one of the things that I try and encourage the couples to do is, do you want any premarital coaching? Not to say that, that's going to be the end all be all and you're going to have a great, successful marriage after that, but really that sets the train on the right track for hopefully a successful long-term marriage. And more so than not, people are like, no, 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 love is just going to carry us through. Well, I wish we lived in a Disney movie, but we don't, unfortunately. Anyway, but so many times I'm officiating a wedding of this young couple in front of me, and Tamika, they're exchanging I do's, and they don't even know who the I am is. And so what happens when two people come to the wedding table, what they're doing is they're saying I do to here's my trash and baggage, can you fix me? And the other person's subconsciously is saying I don't have time for you, but here's my trash and baggage, can you fix me? And here's where you get into a lot of marital issues.
Oh, that was so, so good. And you have like a ton of experience to be able to speak into that. In this day and age, to say that you've been married for 10 years is people will congratulate you, but you've been married for 24 years. In the early years of your marriage, is this how you decided, like, hey, I got to get to know me in order for me to have this long-lasting relationship? Or did you already go into this with this kind of knowledge? And is it because of some of your own work prior to marriage?
Yeah, all the above, all the above. And I'm going to tell you something. Listen, this is what's interesting about long-term relationships. Um, you're married to about 25 different people, only married once to the same person. Because think about it, Tamika, you are not the same person you are today than you were 2 years ago. You're
Not at
not
all.
the same person 2 years from now than you are today. You are far more than a human being. You're a human evolution. You
Mm,
get to know the new Tamika. On top of that, if you're with somebody, they have to get to know the new Tamika, just like you also have to get to know who you're with, evolutionary wise. So, life in general, but marriage is a fragile dance. It's like, how can I support you in our movements without stepping on your toes? And Lord knows I don't want my toes stepped on, so I need support. And then, of course, not even to get into if there's a big rupture in our relationship, such as betrayal, which is my field. Now you have this already fragile dance you're doing with two left feet and missing limbs and crutches.
no, that's so good. And I love how you painted that picture. In today's day and age with AI and with social media right at our fingertips, we have a lot of people feeding us information and really framing our thinking and framing the way we think and the way that we see things. One of the things that I am cautious of or curious about is getting our information from social media. Social media will tell us what betrayal is, but I would love to hear as an expert because someone will say, oh, they betrayed you because they didn't put the dishes away. And although that may be a small b betrayal, that's not something to throw the whole relationship away for. Could you give us like maybe 5 big betrayals that you help your clients walk through that really they would hire somebody like you because these are damaging things to self and to the relationship?
Sure. So hopefully you didn't give me too much rope because I do
Okay.
have a tendency to talk a lot, so please interrupt me. But let me just start with this. Stress affects us,
Mm,
trauma changes us, betrayal trauma is a complex component
mm,
that that ru- ru- deduces us to rubbish, but
mm,
with proper time and work rebuilds us to something even far better than before.
mm.
So, betrayal trauma is different from non-betrayal trauma.
Okay.
I mean, just for this interview, for time purposes, I'll just give you 3 reasons, okay? So, trauma in general, if we see a car accident or if we experience parents that pass away, that could be traumatic, but we don't personalize it. When it comes to betrayal, we personalize it. So if you right now find numbers underneath your mattress of your spouse, partner, significant other going to massage parlors, having an affair, whatever, one of the first things you do is, why wasn't I good enough to please him or her? Why am I not beautiful? Is my butt too big? Is my breath smell in the morning? Why am I not good enough to please him or her? What? We personalize it. That's number
Mhm.
one. Number two is it's a secret society. When we lose a parent, we got aunts and uncles coming out of the woodwork, bringing macaroni and cheese and zucchini and fried chicken and whatever, and saying I'm sorry. And you get time off of work.
Mm,
When you have a betrayal trauma because you find out that your spouse has been having a secret affair for 2 years behind your back, you don't want to tell anybody, and so you're
mm.
grieving in silence. So it's the whole painful journey of secrecy. And the last reason betrayal trauma stands apart and sets apart from non betrayal trauma is trauma affects the here and now and the future. Betrayal trauma is the only trauma that affects the past,
Ooh.
present, and future.
Hey
Because
sis, you got a minute? My name is Coach Tamika, and I am opening up the sanctuary. And if you have been looking for a place to heal, grow, and become everything that God has called you to be, I created the sanctuary just for you. The sanctuary is my private community where every week we come together. Week 1, we do a powerful coaching. Week 2 is live Q&A. Week 3 is prayer and activation. And week 4, I bring in an expert guest that is going to teach us on all the things temple care, identity, growing and starting your business. Right now, we are looking for our first 100 founding members. You will receive your first 3 months absolutely free. And after that, it's just $47 a month. If you are ready for the next season of healing and becoming, join us inside the sanctuary. The link is in the show notes.
now you can't look at vacation photos of yesteryear like before, because now you're like, wait a minute, when you told me you had to leave and go take a meeting for your work, Were you having a meeting or were you going to hook up with somebody? Or
Mm.
wait a minute, now when you told me you had to go to such and such hotel because that's where dinner was at your job, were you really at the hotel? Now your past is affected. And of course, now your present and your future. You no longer can drive down certain streets that maybe Hotel 8 was on, or the restaurant he or she took your significant other to. So it affects the past, present, and future. That's how betrayal trauma is different from non-betrayal trauma.
Oh, that's so good. I'm currently working with a client that had a betrayal, and that's one of the questions that she brings up every session is she wonders, was he doing this during this time and during that time? So that's really great insight. A person that's dealing with betrayal trauma, I heard those three things. They make it personal, so they make it about them. It's a secret, and then it affects past, present, and future. How do we begin to heal? Because that seems like that is so big and so hard. What are some practical steps that folks can take to begin to heal that betrayal?
Yeah. Well, very good question, but understandably very complex because there's so much that goes into this. So let me just say something. Um, Let me very quickly, and I don't know how much time we have. I'll try to be quick. I want you to imagine there's a very thin bridge a mile above ground, okay? And
Mhm.
it's a mile long. This bridge is a mile long. And under the bridge is like an active volcano and fires, and the smoke is like thick and it's billowing. And you're on this bridge, okay? You're on this bridge, and you have to get to safety across this bridge. And so you're holding the two things that mean the most to you. Let's just say it's your puppy, your child, or your mother. The two things that mean the most to you, whatever. And you're trying to walk across this bridge to safety, but the smoke is so blinding, it's thick, and it's so hot from the lava, the soles of your sneakers are melting. And sometimes you have to close your eyes, and the only way you can move is by putting your hand on the person that you love and trust the most in life, often the person you trust more than you trust yourself. That's your significant other, your spouse, what have you. You put your hand on their shoulder, they're going to lead you to safety across that bridge.
Mhm.
And you're walking across this bridge and you look down and you see the eye of the volcano. If you fall, you know it's certain death. And you're walking and you're holding your two babies or your puppies, whatever means the most to you. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the bridge collapses and you fall. And you got these two things in your, and you're trying to look around. Your brain is hijacked and you got two of your babies looking at you to keep me safe. You're not even safe. And you're looking to grab onto something. There's nothing to look onto. You look down and you're about to head into the eye of the volcano. And you look up and you see the person you loved and trusted the most with your life. They're holding a hammer. They're the ones that made the bridge collapse. And
Oh,
now you're confused. That's when somebody comes to me, says,
mm,
I just landed on a detonated bomb. I
mm,
got pieces all over the place. Help me. I don't even know who I am.
mm.
So that's why I say this is hard because
You're trying
depending.
to piece everything. Yeah.
Now, here's the deal. I have clients that I'm talking to that just discovered a betrayal that morning. So they're bear hugging the toilet, vomiting while we're talking.
Yeah.
I have clients that there was a betrayal in their marriage 30 years ago plus, but they never handled correctly.
Mm,
So how you deal with these people would be completely different,
mm,
for many different reasons. But just to answer your question, first and foremost, if somebody just finds out there was a betrayal, right off the bat, a full STD checkup. I mean,
mm.
that's what you need to do. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I talk to somebody and they'll be like, I never did this. And come to find out I was living with HIV for so,
Wow.
or, 3 years later, I had a bump on my lip and it was gonorrhea or whatever, blah, blah,
Mm,
blah. So full STD workup. So no, regardless of what your plans are with the person that did this to, full STD checkup. That's number one. Number two, when you're not triggered, and this is hard, Tamika, because in the first couple 3 to 4 months you're in what's called the acute traumatic phase where your brain is hijacked and you get what's called emotional triggers for people that are watching or listening that are experiencing this. They understand triggers can literally take you to your knees. Basically, it's your amygdala, the reptilian part of your brain, sounding out a siren that you're unsafe. Now you could be completely safe, but your amygdala doesn't know that. So basically, you could be doing dishes, you could be in the shower, belting out a gospel song, you could be having sex with the person you're repairing and rebuilding with. You get a trigger, it's like a sledgehammer to your gut. It could
mm,
physically take you down to your knees. So, first of all, Get grounded. How do you get grounded? What do you need specifically? Because everybody's different. So when I was teaching special education, we had what's called IEPs, individualized educational protocols or plans. I took that concept and now I help my clients with individualized healing plans. I do a full
Mhm.
workup of the individual because everybody's a certain individual. No two people are going to heal the same way. There's no such thing as one size fits all when it comes to healing after betrayal. So what do you need specifically? So when you're not triggered, when you're in a state of your prefrontal cortex is online and you can think logically, which in the first 4 months is very rare and sparse, but what do you need specifically for your healing? Do you have kids? Okay, then maybe what you need is 3 apps on your phone of nearby restaurants. Because when you're in the fetal position in bed and you can't get up because you're crying for 8 hours a day, your kids still need to eat. So you need to be able to press a button and somebody's at your door with pizza to feed your kids. You know, if you're a person of faith, do you need 3 people that no matter who you call, no matter what time it is, they don't ask a bunch of questions. They pick up the phone at 4 in the morning and say, bow our heads, we're going to pray together. Do you need 4 neighbors, 4 people to come and watch your kids? Because you need to go to your car and punch the steering wheel, scream out loud, you know what? So you need a needs assessment. So that's what I would say first and foremost. STD checkup, a needs assessment, then get grounded with your triggers. Because I'm telling you something, if you don't ground if you don't manage your triggers are going to manage you. And
Mm.
boy, I can't tell you how many times I'm talking to somebody and they're on the verge of something homicidal or suicidal because infidelity hits us at our core insecurities. And I don't have, well, it's like cornering a bleeding bull.
Mm.
You know how many times, Tamika, I'm talking to somebody who either is facing jail charges or just got out of jail because they
Yeah.
found out their spouse did something and they went, what? I mean, not that I like it, but I understand why.
Yeah.
People tell me all the time, Mr. J, I'm experiencing rage that I didn't even know I had inside me. I
Hmm.
mean, betrayal trauma is an identity, a disattachment, because, Tamika, as you know, when we're with somebody, we co-create with them. It's
Hmm.
like if you take a white rose and you split the ends of it and you put one in food coloring a different color and one whatever, the petals are going to all turn different colors. The
Hmm.
rose is going to turn because we co-create with somebody. So when the person we're co-creating with does something to break the rules when we thought we were living one way, abiding by the rules, and all the time they weren't, or some of the time they weren't, now it's a attachment break
Mm.
co-created with them. Now we feel like there's something wrong with us, not just something wrong with the relationship. I'm going to stop there so you can get a word in edgewise.
So good. So freaking good. I love it. And I love that you didn't give us a generic one size fits all because everyone's story, everyone's creation story with the person is different. And I love, absolutely love how you speak in analogies. That's my love language. That I hear, I can hear very clearly when I can see the picture. So I love that. You mentioned faith very briefly, and I know that you're a child of God. I know you are a son of the King, so I feel very confident in asking you this. What does faith, how does it play a part in healing betrayal, especially for people that are believers, and maybe for those that are even questioning God as this betrayal happened? I can speak for myself. My second marriage, this I thought I did it right. I thought that this man's a man of the cloth. We're doing everything right, and there was still betrayal. So how do we reconcile with God? And this may be a complex question and answer. How do we reconcile with God, and how does faith play a part in healing betrayal?
Excellent question, very complex, because I'm telling you something. The very thing that can help one person hurt another.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times. I mean, I was talking to this one lady, and she said, Mr. J, ever since I was a little girl, I prayed, Lord, just find me a good man. I want a family. And I prayed all my life. And you know something? He honored that. He honored my prayer and he got me a good man. And I had 2 boys and I was living the life and I was honoring God and God was honoring me. He answered my prayer. And then a drunk driver hit my husband and 2 sons and killed them immediately. God, you knew this was going to happen.
Mm.
I prayed for this and this is I feel God betrayed me.
Mm.
That was, let me tell you about those sessions. Those were some deep sessions. I had to pull out all of the faith arsenal I had, and even then
I'm
some.
feeling chills just us talking about
Yeah.
it.
One of the things that I tell my clients is listen, and again, so I'm ICF certified, which means International Coaching Federation certified. So I,
Same, brother, same.
unless somebody talks faith, I don't usually talk faith because that can turn somebody off.
Yes.
Somebody talks faith, let's go. I was born and raised in the church. I gotcha, you know. One of the things that I tell people is this. Listen, uh, and maybe this isn't even what you asked me, and I apologize, but God cannot take away man's choices because then he'd have to take away his greatest gift, which is our choice to love. So I am sorry, the husband or the wife or whatever that you had that you believed in your heart of hearts, God brought into your life and probably did. They made choices that God's hands were tied
Mm.
because God couldn't have taken away his choices because then God's going to have to take away his greatest gift, and God's not going to take away his greatest gift. But what God does promise, just like the footprints is the sand, is that he's going to cry with you. He's going to be in that fetal position in bed with you, holding you, saying, I'm sorry. And he's going to walk with you every step of the way. And, and the other thing, too, I tell people, you know, they'll say, well, where was God when my husband was in a hotel room? Where was God when, you know, whatever. And I'll say, you know, or where was God? One of the hardest sessions I have is when children pass away, children die. Somebody asked me one time, where was God when my kid was getting murdered?
Mm.
And thankfully, they were a person of faith.
Yeah.
And I said, he was in the same place he was when his son was getting murdered. So, you know, so if you talk to somebody of faith, but you got to be careful because, like I said, some people feel betrayed by God, and
And
that's a
that,
nice long road.
yeah,
Uh,
that could
but
further harm. Yeah. And
yeah,
as practitioners, one of our goals is to do no harm.
no harm.
Mhm.
One of the things, though, that I think somebody that has a faith walk that has a leg up is is forgiveness.
Yeah.
Now, here's the deal with forgiveness, though. If you ask 10 different people what forgiveness means, you're going to get 10 different answers. So, what I tell my clients to do is, first of all, I want you to spend some time defining what forgiveness means to you. What
Hmm.
does forgiveness mean? Because everybody likes to throw around that term forgive, forgive, forgive. That's number one. Number two, you do not want to forgive too quickly.
That's
You
it.
forgive too quickly, it's going to come back and kick you in the butt. But you want to define what forgiveness is. And then, Tamika, what you want to do is you want to take that definition and you want to apply it internally. You
Mm.
want to forgive yourself first. I forgive myself for not leaning into my intuition when it was screaming at me certain things. I want to forgive myself for ignoring those pink and red flags. I
Mm.
want to forgive myself for believing the lies my mother told me I wasn't good enough. I
Mm.
want to believe because so much of our trauma is believing lies that other people or ourselves told ourselves. So we
Yes,
have
sir.
also believing all that nonsense that our parents, which probably were traumatized by their parents, I always say trauma that's not transformed is going to be transferred.
Come
So
on.
they work on their trauma, they just bled on us, and now we're dealing with that, you know. So hopefully we're putting a stop to that generational curse.
Listen, I just love when these divine interventions happen. I feel like I'm talking to someone that I've known and that we're literally speaking the same language. And I know the TWT family can really appreciate and resonate with what you are sharing and giving to us, teaching, really teaching today. Um, I want to know what you got going on in your world because you have some amazing things. You're an author. I'm sure that you probably have spaces for new clients. Tell us how the TWT family can get in contact with you. I'm a firm believer that I may not be everyone's coach. Just because they found me through this podcast does not mean that I'm the right person to guide them through their healing. So how can we get in contact with you? What do you have going on? How can we support?
Well, so actually, I have the easiest website, I think, on the face of the earth. It's mrjrelationshipcoach.com. But even if people never want to hear from me, see me, talk to me, whatever, I have a lot of free resources on my website. So just come on my website, mrjrelationshipcoach.com, and take advantage of my free resources. One of the things I have in the works right now is I'm trying to set the foundation of having I'm already on YouTube, but I want a call-in show where
Mm.
I'm live, where people actually call in and ask, because there's people, Real quick, Tamika, one of the things when I got into this field, I said I always want to be true to my motto, which is I want to help the brokenhearted, the broke down, and the broke. Because I remember when I needed help and I was a broke butt, I couldn't get it because I didn't have any money. So my services are like so very inexpensive, but I also do a lot of free things too. And that's one of the, like, I don't monetize anything on social. I have like almost 30,000 followers on TikTok. I don't monetize nothing. I give them my daily dose of vitamin J, and I don't want to be buried 6 feet under and take all the life lessons I learned the hard way and have other people have to learn them the hard way. I want to give them away for free. But I want to do a call-in half-an-hour show on YouTube. That's what I'm in the works. And the other thing too is I want to get back to what I was doing before COVID, and that's going back into schools, going back into places, and talking actually face-to-face, one-on-one.
I love that, Mr. J. And we will talk after because I have some ideas for you to help you do that. Mr. J, relationshipcoach.com. I may have said that wrong, but his link will be in the show note. Go and click the link, grab those free resources, book a consultation, get in contact with him because there's so much goodness. You are so full of wisdom. This was fun for me. This was good for me. I want to do something that I haven't done in a long time, but I hear God saying, Mr.
Awesome.
J can handle it. So I want to do some rapid fire questions. I'm going to ask you 3 questions and then you just tell me your answer in as short as possible. Favorite book or book that you would recommend anyone to read that is healing?
Living the Truth by Dr. Keith Abloh. Changed.
Ooh,
I was in college. I was going into recreation, immediately changed to psychology after that book.
wow. One core memory that has shaped you into the man that you are today.
Yeah. Being molested as a child. This is probably going to turn off a lot of your viewers. I have a heart for people that have been violated, but I also have a heart for people that violate because they're broken as well.
My viewers are going to say yes and amen. I don't know if I've ever told this story, but one day here in California, we have a hospital for criminally insane, and most of these folks have done just horrendous things, molestation, murdering babies, things like that. And I remember I was driving by it once, and I was kind of angry because I'm also a survivor of childhood sexual trauma, and I was like, God, speaking to God, and He's like, I love them just as much as I love you, and I was like, ooh. And he's like, and you need to love them too. I was like, ooh. And so I have done a lot of work about loving the broken because there's a reason why they are the way that they are. Love
Yeah.
that. Jay. Last question. What does living a life to inspire and not impress mean to you?
Let me just say this. I have teenagers, and I tell them all the time because they're so impressed with what's online. I say, guys, listen, everybody's true life is what's going on in between the pictures they post on Facebook. So I think living in integrity is crucial, and that's doing the right thing regardless if nobody's watching or not.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, there's nothing else to say. Mr. J, it has been a absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for gracing the Healing and Becoming podcast. I hope that more people get in contact with the beautiful work. Thank you for what you're doing on this planet. It is so needed. Thank you for living your purpose and your call. All right, TWT family, remember to like, comment, and share. If you are watching us on YouTube, share this with at least 5 people that need all the vitamin J that Mr. J has given us. Make sure you follow him. Make sure that you get in contact with the beautiful work that he is doing on this planet. If you are listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else that you listen to your podcast, make sure that you rate us. Give us those 5 reviews so the algorithm will say, yes, more people need to hear this. And until next week, bye-bye. Wow, that episode with Mr. J was so good. There are so many things that even in my practice that I may be limited to. I may not have all the resources. So I am grateful that God continues to bring people to expand it. This is actually kingdom. Kingdom tells us that we don't have to uh compete with one another, but that we can actually collaborate. For those of you that are looking for a space of complete collaboration, a community where you could feel seen, heard, loved, where you could process some of these things that you've kept hidden, That's why I built the sanctuary. The sanctuary is a place for women that are ready to grow, to expand, to really live the life that God created them to live. So, do me a favor, click that link in the show note and join the sanctuary today. Everybody that joins within the next 30 days gets 90 days completely free. Completely free, y'all. Join the sanctuary.